It was a Tuesday morning in October when my world turned upside down. I still remember the feeling, that terrifying moment when my legs simply wouldn't hold me. One minute, I was reaching for my favorite coffee mug on the top shelf. The next, I was on my kitchen floor, wondering what had just happened to my body. I'm Margaret, and at 67, I thought I knew everything about staying healthy. I exercised regularly, took my vitamins, and prided myself on being independent. But that morning, as I struggled to get back on my feet, I realized something was terribly wrong. The weakness wasn't gradual, it was sudden, shocking, and absolutely frightening. What I discovered next changed not just my life, but the lives of thousands of seniors I've since shared this story with. If you're over 65, please keep listening. What I'm about to tell you could save you from the same terrifying experience I went through. For weeks after that fall, I visited doctor after doctor. It's just aging, they said. Your muscles naturally weaken after 65. But deep in my heart, I knew something else was happening. The weakness wasn't consistent. Some days I felt strong. Others I could barely climb my front steps. That's when I met Dr. Sarah Chen, a geriatric nutritionist who changed everything I thought I knew about aging and strength. She sat with me in her cozy office, surrounded by plants and warm lighting, and asked me something no other doctor had. Margaret, tell me exactly what you eat and when you eat it. As I described my daily meals, I watched her expression grow more concerned. Finally, she leaned forward and said words that still give me chills. Margaret, I believe you're experiencing something we call nutritional muscle crash. It's not your age. It's what you're eating. And more importantly, what you're not eating. She explained that for many seniors, certain eating patterns can trigger rapid muscle weakness, sometimes in as little as 12 hours. But here's what gave me hope. If the wrong foods could weaken me so quickly, the right foods could potentially strengthen me just as fast. That conversation marked the beginning of my journey back to strength, stability, and confidence. But more than that, it opened my eyes to a truth that the medical establishment often overlooks. Our bodies, even at our age, have an incredible capacity for healing and renewal when we give them what they truly need. Dr. Chen walked me through what she called the perfect storm, a combination of foods that had been silently sabotaging my strength for months without me realizing it. It wasn't one single bad food, but rather a pattern I'd fallen into that millions of seniors unknowingly repeat every day. Look at your typical breakfast, Margaret, she said gently. White toast with jam, a cup of coffee with sugar, maybe some orange juice. Then lunch, a sandwich on white bread, perhaps some crackers, a sweet drink. Do you see the pattern? I didn't, not at first. But as she explained it, everything became crystal clear. My meals were dominated by what she called quick-burning carbohydrates, foods that spike blood sugar rapidly but leave your muscles starving for the nutrients they actually need to stay strong. These foods aren't just empty calories, Dr. Chen continued. They actively interfere with your body's ability to maintain muscle mass and nerve function. When your plate is filled with refined sugars and processed carbs, especially without adequate protein and key nutrients, you're essentially telling your muscles to shut down. The revelation was both devastating and hopeful. Devastating because I realized I'd been unknowingly weakening myself. Hopeful because it meant I had the power to change everything. Dr. Chen drew a simple diagram on her whiteboard. Circles representing muscle cells, with arrows showing energy flowing in and out. Imagine your muscle cells are like cars, she said with a warm smile. These refined carbs are like putting watered-down gasoline in your tank. Your engine sputters, loses power, and eventually starts to fail. She explained how our muscles, especially as we age, become incredibly sensitive to the type of fuel we give them. When we flood our system with quick-burning sugars, several catastrophic things happen almost immediately. First, our cellular powerhouses, tiny structures called mitochondria, can't keep up with the energy demands. They become overwhelmed and inefficient. Second, the sudden sugar spike, followed by a crash, depletes critical building blocks our nerves need to communicate with our muscles. Think of it like a phone line with static, Dr. Chen explained. Your brain is trying to tell your legs to move, but the message gets garbled. You feel this as sudden fatigue, unsteadiness, or that frightening moment when your legs feel like they're not truly yours. But here's what amazed me most. She said this process could begin working in reverse, within hours of changing what I ate. Your body is incredibly resilient, Margaret. Even at 67, you have the power to rebuild strength faster than you ever imagined possible. Those words gave me something I'd lost that Tuesday morning: hope. Part 2. The foods that brought me back to life. 3 days after meeting Dr. Chen, I stood in my kitchen holding an egg, something I'd eaten thousands of times but never truly understood. This, she had told me, contains one of nature's most powerful muscle rebuilding compounds. She was talking about something called leucine, an amino acid that acts like a key, unlocking your muscle's ability to repair and strengthen itself. Think of leucine as sending a direct message to your muscles, Dr. Chen had explained. It tells them, "Wake up! It's time to get strong again." The science fascinated me, but what really mattered was how I felt. That first morning, after eating 3 whole eggs instead of my usual toast and jam, something remarkable happened. By mid-morning, I noticed my legs felt solid, stable. For the first time in weeks, I walked down my front steps without gripping the railing. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that a single leucine-rich meal could boost muscle protein synthesis within hours, especially important for those of us experiencing what Dr. Chen called anabolic resistance. Our aging muscles become less responsive to growth signals, but leucine can break through that resistance like a master key. I remember calling my daughter that evening, excitement bubbling in my voice. "Susan," I said, "I think I found my strength again." She was skeptical after all. How could eggs make such a difference? But as the days passed, and my stability continued to improve, she became a believer too. That simple egg had given me back something I thought I'd lost forever: confidence in my own body. Learning about leucine was just the beginning. Dr. Chen taught me that getting enough wasn't just about eating eggs. It was about understanding how to build complete, strength-supporting meals that my aging body could actually use. Aim for about 25 to 30 grams of complete protein per meal, she advised, which typically gives you that crucial 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine your muscles crave. She showed me how 3 whole eggs provided excellent leucine, but I could also get it from lean chicken, fish, or even a high-quality protein powder on days when my appetite was low. I started experimenting in my kitchen like I hadn't done in years. Some mornings, I'd scramble those 3 eggs with fresh herbs from my garden. Other days, I'd blend a scoop of protein powder into a smoothie with berries. When I visited my son's family, I'd grill some salmon for breakfast. Unconventional, but incredibly effective. The beauty was in the simplicity. No complicated supplements, no expensive treatments. Just real, whole foods that my grandmother would have recognized. Dr. Chen emphasized that this wasn't about perfection. It was about consistency. Every leucine-rich meal is like making a deposit in your strength bank account, she'd say. Within a week, I noticed I wasn't just walking more confidently. I was looking forward to moving. My body felt like it was waking up from a long sleep. 2 weeks into my new eating pattern, I experienced something that brought tears to my eyes. I was in my garden, kneeling to plant some late-season bulbs, when I realized I'd been down there for 20 minutes without any discomfort. But more importantly, when I decided to stand up, my body responded immediately. No hesitation, no struggle, just smooth, confident movement. Dr. Chen had prepared me for this moment. Margaret, she'd said, we need to make sure your brain and muscles are talking to each other clearly. She'd introduced me to the concept of acetylcholine, the chemical messenger that carries commands from your brain to your muscles. Think of it as your body's internal communication system, she'd explained. When this system works well, your brain says, stand up, and your legs respond instantly. When it's compromised, there's a delay, uncertainty, even fear. The remarkable thing was that the same eggs giving me leucine were also providing something called choline, the raw material your brain uses to make acetylcholine. Dr. Chen showed me research from nutrition journals demonstrating how dietary choline could improve neuromuscular transmission in as little as 6 to 12 hours. Standing in my garden that afternoon, I finally understood what she meant. My legs weren't just stronger. They were more responsive, more trustworthy. It was like my brain and body were friends again after months of miscommunication. I thought about all the times I'd hesitated before standing up, all the moments I'd gripped railings and chair arms out of fear. This simple nutritional change was giving me back more than strength. It was giving me back my confidence, my independence, my sense of self. Dr. Chen had smiled when I asked about other sources of choline. You're going to love this, Margaret. The foods richest in choline are often the ones our grandmothers considered essential for strength and vitality. Egg yolks, she explained, were nature's richest source. But I could also find choline in foods like grass-fed beef liver, which reminded me of my mother's Sunday dinners, wild-caught salmon, and even plant sources like soybeans and shiitake mushrooms. For my vegetarian friends, Dr. Chen recommended focusing on quinoa, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. The beautiful thing about starting your day with eggs, she noted, is that you're getting both leucine and choline in one perfect package. It's like nature designed the ideal strength food. I began to see my kitchen differently. Instead of a place where I grabbed quick, convenient foods, it became my personal pharmacy, a place where I could literally manufacture strength and vitality with every meal choice. My morning routine evolved into something I genuinely looked forward to. Sometimes I'd make a simple omelet with fresh spinach. Other days, I'd prepare egg salad with choline-rich vegetables for lunch. I even started incorporating shiitake mushrooms into my stir-fries, adding both flavor and nutrients. The transformation wasn't just physical. Cooking these meals mindfully, understanding how each ingredient supported my body, gave me a sense of purpose and control I hadn't felt in months. I was actively participating in my own healing. 1 month after starting my new eating pattern, something extraordinary happened. I was walking with my neighbor Dorothy on our usual route around the block. Halfway through, she stopped and stared at me. "Margaret," she said, "you're walking faster than I am. What's gotten into you? What had gotten into me was something Dr. Chen called the highway system for nutrients. And it involved one of nature's most surprising superfoods, beets. I'll admit, when she first mentioned beetroot juice, I wrinkled my nose. But when she explained how it worked, I was fascinated. Your muscles can have all the best building blocks, Dr. Chen had explained. But if the delivery trucks can't get through, nothing gets built. She was talking about blood flow, the crucial highway that carries nutrients and oxygen to working muscles. Beets contain natural compounds called nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide. Research in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that beetroot juice could measurably increase leg muscle power and blood flow within hours of consumption, especially in older adults. That first sip of beetroot juice was challenging. But knowing it was literally opening highways in my body made every swallow worthwhile. And the results spoke for themselves. I was keeping up with Dorothy for the first time in months. I'll be honest, pure beetroot juice took some getting used to. But Dr. Chen, ever practical, showed me how to make it enjoyable. Start small, she advised. 4 to 6 ounces, about 60 to 90 minutes before you plan to be active. Your body needs time to convert those nitrates into nitric oxide. I discovered that blending beetroot powder into a morning smoothie with berries masked the earthy taste completely. Sometimes I'd add it to fresh vegetable juice. My granddaughter even helped me create a power smoothie with beets, spinach, and apple that actually tasted delicious. For days when I couldn't stomach beets, Dr. Chen assured me that dark leafy greens like spinach and arugula also provided nitrates, though beets remained the champion. I started adding massive handfuls of spinach to my morning eggs, creating colorful, nutrient-dense meals that made me feel like I was truly nourishing my body. The timing became part of my daily rhythm. Beetroot juice or powder first thing in the morning, followed by a gentle walk around my garden or neighborhood, then my protein-rich breakfast. It was like preparing my body for success before asking it to perform. Within weeks, this simple addition had transformed not just my energy levels, but my entire approach to daily movement. Part 3. The 12-hour miracle that became my daily rhythm. It was exactly 6 weeks after my first meeting with Dr. Chen when I experienced what I can only describe as my breakthrough moment. I woke up that Tuesday morning, coincidentally, the same day of the week as my kitchen floor incident, and something was fundamentally different. I wasn't just feeling stronger. I was feeling powerful, confident, like my body was truly mine again. Dr. Chen had been preparing me for this moment. Margaret, she'd said during our previous visit, what you're about to discover is the magic of synergy. It's not just what you eat, but when you eat it, and how you combine it with movement. When you get the timing right, your body becomes incredibly efficient at rebuilding itself. She'd explained something called the anabolic window, a period after gentle movement when your muscles become exceptionally hungry for nutrients. It's like your muscle cells open their doors wide and put up welcome signs, she'd said with that warm smile of hers. By timing your nutrition strategically, you're essentially giving your body everything it needs at exactly the moment it's most ready to use it. That Tuesday morning, I followed the routine we'd perfected together, and I felt the difference immediately. It wasn't just physical. It was emotional, psychological. I felt like I'd unlocked a secret that had been hiding in plain sight all along. For the first time in months, I felt truly alive in my own skin. Let me share with you exactly what that life-changing morning looked like. because this routine has now become as natural to me as brushing my teeth, and just as essential for my daily well-being. I start each day with what I call my highway opener, a small glass of beetroot juice, mixed with a splash of apple juice to make it more palatable. On days when I'm feeling adventurous, I blend half a small beet into a smoothie with spinach, berries, and a scoop of protein powder. Dr. Chen taught me that this combination gives me both the nitric oxide boost for blood flow and an early dose of muscle-building protein. This is my favorite part of the day. I step outside into my garden or take a leisurely walk around my neighborhood. Nothing strenuous, just 15 to 20 minutes of gentle movement that gets my blood flowing and, as Dr. Chen puts it, wakes up my muscles. Sometimes I do light stretching in my living room while watching the morning news. The key is movement, not intensity. This is when the magic happens. Within 30 to 60 minutes after my walk, I prepare what Dr. Chen calls my rebuild breakfast. 2 to 3 whole eggs, prepared however my mood strikes me, scrambled with fresh herbs, as an omelet with vegetables, or even hard-boiled with avocado slices. I always include more greens, spinach in my eggs, a side of sautéed kale, or fresh arugula. If I'm still hungry, I'll add a slice of whole grain toast or a small portion of quinoa. Dr. Chen explained that this sequence ensures my body has the nitric oxide for optimal blood flow, then provides the leucine and choline at precisely the moment my muscles are most receptive. It's like opening all the doors and windows in your house, then inviting in exactly the guests you want to keep. The transformation isn't just physical. This routine has become my daily meditation, my way of honoring my body and setting a positive intention for the day ahead. I wake up not with dread about how my body might fail me, but with excitement about how strong and capable I'm going to feel. 3 months into my new lifestyle, I realized something profound. The morning routine had been just the beginning. To maintain the strength and vitality I'd rediscovered, I needed to think about my entire day differently. Dr. Chen had warned me about this during one of our follow-up visits. Margaret, that morning protocol is your jumpstart, but sustainable strength requires consistent attention throughout the day. And there's one more enemy we need to address, something that's been working against you without you even knowing it. She was talking about inflammation, not the obvious kind that causes swelling and pain, but what she called silent inflammation. She described it as a low-grade fire burning throughout my body, constantly undermining my muscle repair and nerve function. The beautiful thing, Dr. Chen continued, is that the same whole foods approach that builds muscle also puts out these inflammatory flames. Every meal is an opportunity to either feed the fire or douse it. I started seeing my daily meals as a series of choices between strength and weakness, vitality and decline. Colorful fruits and vegetables became my anti-inflammatory arsenal. Healthy fats from avocados, olive oil, and nuts became my protection. Spices like turmeric and ginger transformed from mere seasonings into powerful medicine. What excited me most was realizing that this wasn't about restriction or deprivation. It was about abundance, filling my plate with so many nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods that there simply wasn't room for the ones that had been holding me back. By month 4, my daily eating rhythm had evolved into something beautiful and sustainable. I wasn't following a rigid diet. I was living a lifestyle that naturally supported my strength and vitality from morning until night. Lunch became another opportunity to fuel my body wisely. I'd prepare salads packed with colorful vegetables, topped with grilled chicken or salmon for protein, and dressed with olive oil and herbs. Or I'd make hearty soups with bone broth, vegetables, and legumes. The key was ensuring each meal contained adequate protein. Dr. Chen's guideline of 20 to 30 grams per meal became second nature. Dinner was often my most creative meal. I'd experiment with new ways to incorporate anti-inflammatory foods. Turmeric-spiced roasted vegetables, ginger-infused stir-fries, or simple grilled fish with herbs from my garden. I discovered that cooking had become not just about nourishment, but about creativity and joy. Hydration became equally important. Dr. Chen had emphasized that water is essential for every function in our bodies, including muscle health and nutrient transport. I began carrying a water bottle everywhere, aiming for those 6 to 8 glasses daily. I noticed that proper hydration made everything else work better. My energy was more stable, my thinking clearer, my recovery faster. What surprised me most was how naturally this new pattern emerged. I wasn't forcing myself to follow a complicated regimen. Instead, I was simply crowding out less beneficial choices with nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods that made me feel amazing. Friends began commenting on my transformation. "Margaret, what's your secret?" they'd ask. The answer was beautifully simple. I'd learned to work with my body instead of against it, giving it exactly what it needed to thrive. Part 4. The life I never expected to live again. 6 months after that terrifying Tuesday morning on my kitchen floor, I stood in my daughter Susan's backyard, playing tag with my 5-year-old grandson, Tommy. He was giggling as I chased him around the swing set, and suddenly he stopped, looked up at me with those bright eyes and said, "Grandma, you're fast now." I had to excuse myself to the bathroom because tears were streaming down my face. Not tears of sadness, tears of pure, overwhelming gratitude. 6 months earlier, I could barely trust my legs to carry me safely around my own home. Now I was running, playing, fully participating in life again. That evening, Susan pulled me aside. "Mom, I need to tell you something. A few months ago, Dad and I were talking about whether you might need to move to assisted living. We were so worried about you falling again, about you being alone." She paused, her own eyes filling with tears. "Look at you now. You're stronger than you've been in years. Whatever you're doing, don't stop." The transformation went far beyond physical strength. Yes, my legs were stable and powerful again. Yes, I could climb stairs, carry groceries, and garden for hours. But more than that, I'd reclaimed my sense of agency, my confidence, my joy in simply being alive. Dr. Chen had warned me this might happen. When we restore physical strength, she'd said, we often restore emotional and psychological strength as well. You're not just rebuilding muscle, you're rebuilding your relationship with your own body, your own capabilities. Standing in that backyard, watching Tommy climb the jungle gym with fearless determination, I realized I'd found something I thought was gone forever. My own fearless determination. As I reflect on this incredible journey, I can distill everything I learned into 4 simple pillars that anyone can build upon. These aren't complicated medical procedures or expensive interventions. They're accessible, practical strategies that gave me my life back. Fuel your muscles wisely. Those leucine-rich proteins, eggs, quality fish, lean meats, even plant-based protein powders became my foundation. Every meal containing 25 to 30 grams of complete protein was like making a deposit in my strength account. The beauty was in the simplicity. 3 eggs provided everything I needed to start rebuilding, restore the connection. The choline in egg yolks, liver, and even vegetables like broccoli helped restore clear communication between my brain and muscles. No more hesitation, no more uncertainty when I asked my body to move. Just clear, confident signals and immediate response. Open the highways. That humble beetroot juice, along with dark leafy greens, created the blood flow necessary to deliver nutrients where they were needed most. I learned to think of these foods as opening superhighways throughout my body, ensuring everything else could do its job effectively. Create the right environment. Anti-inflammatory eating and strategic timing weren't just about what I ate, but when and how I ate it. The morning routine became my daily ritual of self-care, setting my body up for success from the very first hour. What amazes me most is how these 4 pillars work together synergistically. Each one supports the others, creating a foundation for strength that's greater than the sum of its parts. You don't need all 4 to see benefits, but together they create something truly transformative. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress, consistency, and working with your body's natural wisdom. If you're reading this and recognizing yourself in my story, if you've experienced that frightening moment when your body doesn't respond the way you expect, or if you're simply tired of feeling weaker with each passing year, I want you to know something important. Your transformation can begin today. I'm not promising miracles. I'm not claiming that food alone can solve every age-related challenge. But I am sharing my lived experience that small, consistent changes in how we nourish our bodies can create profound shifts in how we feel, move, and engage with life. My challenge to you is beautifully simple. Try the morning routine I've shared for just 3 days. That's all. Wake up, drink some beetroot juice, or add beetroot powder to a smoothie. Take a gentle walk, then sit down to a breakfast rich in high-quality protein. Pay attention to how you feel. Notice your energy levels. Notice how your legs respond when you stand up. Notice your balance, your confidence, your sense of stability in your own body. This isn't about following someone else's prescription for health. It's about rediscovering your own body's incredible capacity for strength, healing, and vitality. Even now, even at our age, even when others might say it's too late. It's never too late to feel powerful in your own skin again. One of the most beautiful aspects of this journey has been discovering that I'm not alone. Through sharing my story, I've connected with hundreds of other seniors who've experienced similar transformations. We celebrate each other's victories. The first day, someone climbs stairs without holding the railing. The first time someone plays with grandchildren without fear. The first morning, someone wakes up feeling strong instead of fragile. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to share your own experience. Whether you try my morning routine, adapt it to your own preferences, or simply begin paying closer attention to how different foods make you feel, your story matters. Your progress, no matter how small it might seem, could inspire someone else to take that first brave step. Remember, we're not just fighting against aging. We're fighting for the fullest expression of ourselves at every stage of life. We're proving that our later years can be characterized not by decline and limitation, but by wisdom, strength, and continued growth. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for believing that transformation is possible. Here's to your strength, your vitality, and your own incredible capacity for renewal. The best version of yourself is still waiting to emerge. Your new beginning starts now.